Greetings. This video is about the TED Talk evaluation. My name is Imam Rashad. I'm here to answer a few questions. First question was, who's the speaker that I choose? The speaker I chose was Saki Mafundikwa, and this thesis was basically about how he is an immigrant and he returns to his native country and opens a school for what he learns in America, which is graphic design. And he pretty much speaks on how his culture in Africa was one of the first written languages, and how the symbols and letters were had a lot of different intertwined meanings, and it was pretty interesting. And he had a lot of information on the dates of when these hieroglyphics and stuff were discovered and stuff like that. And the second question is, how did the speaker capture the attention of his or her audience? I felt like the speaker was, perhaps English wasn't his first language, but he didn't seem super enthused. He seemed more like a professor speaking about information at school. It wasn't like overly enthusiastic, but the subject matter was very interesting. I feel like that's you know what was what captured attention of people, the interestingness of how it was. Their letters themselves was like art. It wasn't just writing. And as far as did the speaker maintain engagement with the audience throughout the speech, I felt like the speaker seemed a little detached somewhat, but he didn't have too many ums and uhs and stuff like that. But he didn't seem like really like an outward personal type of person. But the subject matter was really interesting to me. I felt like he was a little muted. It wasn't like really bubbly and stuff like that. And fourth question is, which of the 10 TED commandments did the speaker best follow and why? I felt like the second, which is, thou shalt dream a great dream, or show forth a wondrous new thing, or share something that thou hast never shared before. And I felt like that was the best, because the information was showing that his culture that he came from had kind of a grasp on artistic things, even in just the alphabet, the letters, before he even became a graphic artist in America. And when he went back to start school, it was very interesting to think of, the different meanings those symbols and letters meant. They weren't, a lot of them looked like a letter, but they had like a shape of a body that, did a pose that could kind of make you think that's what it meant, even if you didn't know what the symbol meant itself. And I felt like that was probably his best thing about speech. And the fifth question is, apparently trashed the Sir Robinson and the video that I watched. I feel like Sir Robinson's video, he was it's pretty much like watching a master to me. I feel like I didn't feel like I was watching a speech. I felt like it was just, it was almost like a comedy show, but then at the same time he spoke on some really relevant, facts and relevant ideas. But then he engaged so with the audience as far as jokes, and he was funny, he was energetic, he was likable. He had a lot of good points, and his jokes actually led directly into his points. It was very well done. And I feel like the one that I watched with Saki, it was good. It was more like informational. It was almost like, okay, you're watching. It almost ties into what Ken, what his video was, that he was speaking about artisticness and stuff like that. And it almost seems like the video I watched that was a similar subject was almost more like something. It was almost like a business kind of advertising, or you know a professor talking, and he was more like just a cool guy. He was funny, even though he said he was a professor before, but he just was obviously, I felt, a much better speaker overall. So I felt like Sir Ken Robinson's video was Trump, the one I watched afterward. And for the sixth question, evaluate speaker in terms of dynamism from 1 to 5, and what could the speaker have done to increase his dynamism? I feel like I gave him a 3. I didn't feel like it was bad, but I felt like it was, as far as like being a speaker that's, you know, just their personality brings you into the subject. He really wasn't. It was more chill and cool and calm, and it wasn't too much. It felt more informational than just like entertainment, and that's why I feel like, if it was a little more, maybe he was nervous or what, but I felt like it was a little bit more personable, and he would have come across a little less like a teacher or a professor, and more like, oh, this is cool, because it's a really cool subject. And question number 7 is, what have I learned about the delivery based on watching my presenter? I felt that I learned the most is to try to just be myself, and not let any nerves or anything get to me, and try to speak clearly and stay on subject, because I can kind of go off subject sometimes. But that's what I feel like I learned. And as far as tips for classmates, I would just say don't sweat it, because you know I'm recording on a cell phone, and just do your best with what you have, and don't sweat it and get all nervous and stuff like that. Just do your best and try to learn from it and make the most of this class, even if you don't feel it's the best class ever, but make the most of it. And for me, that's it today. Thanks for watching.